Right. It's another week and another race here in League of Ireland for Tier 3. Today we'll be racing for 36 laps around Mexico. So, my name is Josh Center 6000. Here alongside me, as always, is the man himself, Cav. How are we today?
Really good, Josh. Looking forward to this. We obviously had our first outing last week in Silverstone, and everyone showed, I suppose, their first hand. So, Chapter 2 tonight, very different track, and I guess we'll see how lads line up now in the City of Mexico.
We will indeed. And Cav, I believe you have a certain someone down on the paddock named
I
Glenn
am
Mack.
with
You're going to have a
an
chat with him?
LOI legend, absolutely on the grid. Glenn, how's things? How's the form?
Hola, amigo. All good.
Glenn,
How are you?
very well, thank you. And I remember, I think, the start of last season, you came in and had a good chat with us as well. And you were actually in quite a similar position, I suppose, to what it is now, which is one race down, a good result in race one as well. And I suppose, how are you feeling about the season ahead?
I'll just take it race by race and see how things go. Normally it never goes my way, so
Hmm.
I'll just go with the flow now. I think
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be fighting for it. I know for a fact I won't be anyway. So.
You don't believe you'd be fighting for the championship?
No, not at all.
Okay, so setting low expectations. And what about then, if you're not fighting for the
Set low,
drivers, the
set low
constructors?
expectations. So when you get when you get high, then it's unbelievable. You know?
Excellent. So you're being quietly calm about it all. And we have to talk about Silverstone. Obviously, a lot happened in that race. You started that race with a quali ban, as I believe you are tonight as well. But you must be really happy to have come through the field and finished fifth in the end.
Yeah, I was sweating the whole race to be honest. Yeah, I was delighted. I was delighted with the P5 there.
And of course,
Get
we have to
Ferrari on
talk.
top there.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you about. Talk to me about Ferrari because, you know, it's a team with a reputation for, we'll say, constructors' calamities. Yourself and your teammate Aaron Sully had a serious battle on track last week. What's the plan for the season ahead? Are you working together? Are you driving solo and just hoping it all comes together? Or what's the
No,
situation in Ferrari at the moment? Can we get some inside scoop?
yeah, we haven't really been trying to do things together. We haven't really been talking to each other. Just doing our own thing.
So there's a divide in the Ferrari garage.
Well, look, we're doing good there at the moment, so hopefully we can keep it going.
Absolutely, no, you are in a
You know,
good
Ferrari's
start and result
reputation
last
there,
week.
you know what I mean? Don't want to let them down. Don't know what they were thinking putting me in that hot seat there.
Oh, sure, look, no better man and no better man with the experience. And so talk to me about tonight before you go. Mexico, obviously very different track to last week. How do you feel? You feel confident?
No, not really, especially in the stand at the back there.
Hmm.
I'm gonna get a heap of penalties. So I just think it's proxy on controller this track. That's
Yeah, of course.
sector two there.
Oh, sure, look, you can slipstream everyone down into turn one, starting at the back. And you feel like then going beyond Mexico, any particular tracks coming up that you're looking forward to?
I haven't really even been looked at to Canada, to be honest, but um, there's Belgium on it.
Belgium is in there right towards
Oh,
the
yeah.
end, yeah. Looking forward to that?
Yeah, that's one of my favourites.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Well, Glenn, pleasure as always. And of course, we wish you best of luck on the track itself tonight. You obviously won't be out in qualifying, so you go and make yourself a cuppa or whatever you're going to do beforehand. And we'll hopefully see you on track in about 20 minutes.
Oh, nice one, boys.
Take care, Glenn. Thanking you.
Thank you very much, Glenn. So, I have the man who made his debut last week, Bluefoot. You had a great result last week in P2, especially with the pressure of your debut. This week, you feeling the same amount of confidence as you have been last week?
Yeah, the car feels quite good in the practice I was doing there, so I'm hoping if it's as comfortable as I felt in it last week, I should get a decent score out of it.
That's good. And having a look at your championship, obviously P2 in the first race, do you think you're in with a chance of the championship at all?
Uh, like, yeah, like if I keep putting in performances like that, if I just stay consistent, I should be racking up some good points and stuff. But yeah, sure, it's F1, so we know how that goes. It can change in a second, so I wouldn't be counting on it
That's very
too
true.
early on, you know.
And I'm guessing you're hoping for a bit of rain today as well to spice things up.
Yeah. Yeah, preferably not. Hopefully it's wet all the way through or dry all the way through, just to, get used to the
So
conditions.
stable
But
conditions for
yeah,
Bluefoot today.
stable. Yeah, yeah,
Anyway, thank you very
for
much for
sure.
coming in, and good luck to you today. And yeah, best of luck. Hopefully, we'll talk to you later on.
Yeah, cheers.
So, Gav,
Yeah, that leads us into the star of the show tonight. Everyone obviously knows at this stage that we regularly get in a expert analyst on a weekly basis to talk about the race. Unfortunately, we had none available this week, so we decided to get in instead Mr. LOI Fanjo. How are things?
All right, Cam. I guess I'll take that introduction.
There's been worse ones and there's been better ones, but no, look, absolutely, hands down. It's great to have you in, and I know you're very competitive up in Tier 1, so it's always great to have lads, particularly that are competitive at the top end of the grid, coming in and giving us a bit of insight and a bit of knowledge, I suppose, into what's going on, because as you well know, me and Josh know very, very little, and we generally talk mostly
Speak for yourself, Cav.
Well, listen, I think we've both agreed on that one at this stage, but Fanjo, first of all, let's talk about yourself, I suppose, as we dive into quali here. A little bit of an introduction for some of the lads who might be new to LOI. Tell us about yourself and what you do.
So, I'm young enough, lads. I'm 22 years old. I'm in college. Well, I consider it young anyway. But yeah, no, I joined the league in season 5. I'm already
Right.
season 10 now, so it's a while ago now. But yeah, I joined in season 5, and I used to have a different name when I joined the league. I was known by the name of Tugbird. But and people don't let me forget that. But anyway. Yeah, no, I've always been Tier 1.
Wow.
Maybe sometimes I shouldn't have been, but I feel like I've improved over the years, and yeah, I don't know, I've been finding some form, I think, as of late.
Right, we have a few things to ask you. Firstly, and most importantly, why were you called Tugboard? Give us some context. Where does that come from?
It's going to sound like an excuse, alright? But so
Here we go.
the PS4 was my younger brother's, so I hopped on
Okay.
or whatever. I see this name, like, sure, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to be playing it online anyway. Do you know what I mean? So I think I was watching one of the LOI streams, so it was just like, oh, this looks interesting, All Irish League and whatever. So I just kind of said, what's the story here? Can I have a go or whatever? And obviously, after racing a few races, you kind of people get to know your name, and especially if you're causing a bit of havoc, like
Yeah.
I was to a few. But yeah, I think after that season 5, I was like, all right, I can't be having this name now in a prestigious league like this. So yeah, changed it to Fanjo there.
Excellent. And your race last week, obviously up in Tier 1, you had a great result, I believe P3 off the top of my head, I think you got onto the podium.
Yeah.
How does Tier 1 look for you this season? And you must have been happy with Silverstone starting off.
Yeah, no, I was happy enough. Like I had a poor quality. I think I started P8 or something, and I was down to about 11th by the end of Sector 1. So no, I 100% take P3 there, and yeah, like I'm optimistic about this season. To be fair, like I feel like I've got the pace up with anyone really in the tier. So it's just about kind of delivering when it matters and doing the best I can in the situations.
Fantastic. Well, listen, we have a full quali ahead of us. We'll obviously be coming back to you at the end of quali for your predictions, and we'll get to talk to you a little bit more about the race ahead and maybe who you think might be in the running for the championship as well. So thanks for now, Fanjo, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much, Fanjo. Right, well, Thugbird has taken up all the time talking, so Cav, take us away on a lap of Mexico with Irish Asa.
Absolutely, missing the A, but however, so as he comes down the main straight, he's getting loads of me now over the last 5 minutes. DRS wide open, he's going to be on one of the longest straights of the calendar here and one of the heaviest braking zones as he comes into turn 1. 1, 2 and 3 all come together in a collection. He's going to be staying as far left as he can for the time being, and if you compromise the entrance here into 1, it's going to mess up 2 and 3 as well. You can cut a good bit out of this curve if you like, but you're trying to get the power down as quickly as you can. Tricky traction zone here as you come into the second part of the DRS zone. Has the 1 activation point, but second DRS zone so far. Now into sector 2 or into 4 and 5. Again, very important to get heavy on the left here because you want to swing the car right around, maintain as much speed as you can as you come through 5 and then into 6, my favourite corner on the track. You can carry a lovely line, which as it does, hits both apexes, and now straight down on the power as you come into tricky S section. Most tracks seem to have one nowadays, and this track in Mexico is no different. And again, Careful on the power. 6th and 7th gear you'll be flopping between usually, just trying not to lose the rear end. Keeps the nose in very nicely. DRS open now for the third time this lap, and he comes into sector 3, into corner 12. He's going to be staying hard left and trying to throw the nose in early, get down on the power. Heavy braking zone now. 13, 14, 15 all come together very quickly. Again, you compromise one, you lose time through them all. Heavy out on the left hand side curb to throw the car in, get on the power as quick as you can. Again, careful not to lose traction. I've done it here a million times myself. And straight to the line on the right hand side in 18.9, setting the tempo, and we guarantee that'll come down quite a bit for Irish Az.
Yeah, not a bad lap at all. Of course, a lot of time to come out of it, but as we see there, Aaron Sully, Glenn Mack's good friend, with a 17.7 and then a 17 flat for Gaffo.
Wow,
so
that is a very good banker.
First lap for Gaffo there, and Nolan now being 6 tenths behind, and an even better lap for Mr. 105, 16.4 for Ryan Curran. We are not going to forget that.
Nope, he will be reminded of that for the entire season. You have to be very careful of what you say in our discords and chats, and Ryan will learn that the hard way in that Mercedes. Just a quick weather update before we jump into anything else. Quali session, obviously, as you can see, clear skies, and that's how it's going to stay. Race, first 15-20 minutes anyways, we are looking at overcast, but looks to be dry in the main.
Very good. So a nice dry race. We'll be getting some good overtakes, I'm sure, for this race. A good overtaking spot, of course, being turn 1 with that nice long straight with the good DRS zone. So looking at the times now, so Bluefoot with a 16.8 being 4 tenths behind Ryan Curran with a 16.4, so maybe he wasn't lying about his 105 AI. Quite a good banker lap compared to the rest of them today.
Yeah, we know Ryan had a mare in qualifying last week. He obviously had 2 laps that didn't go his way early on and was reliant on a kind of all or nothing last lap, which wasn't perfect either. So yeah, look, he definitely has the pace, and a good banker now this week might set him up for even more progress towards the end of this session.
So a lot of lads, I think, have either opted not to come out straight away or have botched their lap. Only 7 people so far have set a lap. We have a few on laps now, one of them being Sanko. Sanko, a man who has had some great pace last season. We're just not seeing that this season just yet. Today might be a turnaround for that. He's a man who doesn't have a great look in the races. His consistency is maybe something he needs to improve on, but definitely has the pace there and has the potential for sure.
Yeah, has swapped to the wheel, I believe, and you could see last week in Britain a little bit more consistency, but again, he had a boxing match with turn 1 for pretty much the whole race, and it caught him out a few times, so hopefully better luck from this week. We know he has the pace, as you said yourself.
Exactly, yeah, and it is a wheel track, apparently, whatever that means, according to some controller players, but I'm sure that will play into some sort of advantage for Sanko as he comes around the last corner, crossing the line. And is an 18.4, not a great lap for Sanko.
No, and we're seeing a bigger field spread than we're used to in Tier 3. Obviously, 2 seconds plus between first and last, as Kay Flemo goes in with a 16.8 first blood. Very nice for him. Yeah, but it'd be interesting to see now, do the times tighten up as we get through this session. Obviously, some people take their bankers slightly more aggressively than others.
Yeah. We don't have Decky Ferg to set a pole time for his banker lap, but
no, we miss Decky being the first man out on track every week. And funny enough, last season James Mallon used to be that same driver as well, but so far this season it's been varied. One man we didn't have last week that we should mention is on the grid this week. We know of our 44 current viewers that most of them are all here for him. It's Mr. Eloi Kachiga, and he is well, he's in the lobby. Awake. Is he awake? I don't know, because he's in the pit still. He may have dozed off, but he certainly made it as far as the lobby, so that's a good start, and I'm sure we'll see him on track shortly.
Well, indeed, Mr. Consistency. He's of course last week didn't show up, so this week might he have a quali ban?
Oh, he probably does. He probably does, because he was due into us last week, so yeah, he may do indeed. He might
actually be asleep, so you never know. But as Big Knock was a big spin for him. It was a very aggressive spin. Jesus. I thought he was going straight into the wall there, but looked like he did that on purpose. Just Big Knock was very a weird spin there, but I think he's going to go into the pits as he lets an Alpine go by him.
Yeah, Big Knocko's very experienced in LOI, has raced in a lot of tiers over the years, and good to see him back out on track tonight, reserving in the Aston Martin. And one man we haven't mentioned yet, last week's race winner, Kachiga's teammate Darver, is currently in Sector 1 and about to set his first lap of the session.
Darver, yeah. Super pace last week. Dominated, really. Strategy played well, and he played his cards right, and here he is again.
Yeah, well deserved. Sometimes when particularly lads come up from lower tiers, they get a race win, but it kind of lands on their lap. Not the case for Darver last week. He had the pace, he had the strategy, very composed as well. So be interesting to see, is it one track that suits him well, or as he drives through Sector 2 here? He seems very tidy. Yeah, just as we say it, we've cursed someone already. There we go.
Lovely. So Carl C, very dodgy through the last sector. He's trying to keep the car in a straight line as he's, I think,
drifting.
He thinks he's in the drift mode here, Carl, as he is going to set a lap. What lap is he going to set? It's an 18.9, just behind his teammate. Two Hasses in P12 and 13, and still a good few people who haven't set laps. One of them, of course, being race winner Darver from last week.
Yeah, the Fon's coming to the line now. Again, another man that's very experienced in LOI. Just coming to the line in Sector 3. How will he do? The Fon's P11 and 18.5.
Not sure if he'll be the happiest with that lap. Same with Blue Gunner as well. 19.6. There must have been a big mistake somewhere in that lap. So you would have expected him to be somewhere higher up than that anyway.
Yeah, for sure. And we see Dark Mayhem there. We haven't mentioned him yet on his LOI debut. And he has gone in P9 with an 18.1 at the moment. So really good first banker for him. And we might see more of him through the session as Ryan improves further.
16.1 for Ryan Curran. Maybe the sandbags aren't heavy enough.
Yeah, he'd want to be careful. That's 106 AI pace, I think. So he's undersold himself now. But very impressive from Ryan, and getting that first banker right just shows you the confidence it can give you to go and attack the track that little bit more.
As of now, up into P9 with a 118.1, so a bit better than his previous lap. P9 now.
And Blue Gunner and the Red Bull gone in P15 with a 19.6. Definitely more pace to come from Blue, who scored good points last week for himself. You'd be happy with that.
Good mood. So now Nolan, someone who's very quick in qualifying, who we saw last week as well, going to start his lap. So he currently has a 17.6. Let's see how much he can get off of this lap time now.
And hello obviously to everyone in the chat. I do see all these are comments and you're very welcome. 43 people watching at the moment. As I usually say, don't forget to hit that like button, folks. It takes you 2 seconds and it means an awful lot to the stream. Me and LOI Big Slater can pay me and Josh's wages, so very, very important, of course. As we watch King Papa now coming into Sector 2. Very, very tidy. I have to say I do miss him being called King Papa. LOI Nolan just doesn't have that same ring to me. But
yeah, it doesn't roll off the tongue like it used to.
No.
But, something we're going to have to get used to.
Absolutely. One thing he hasn't lost, and that's his pace. Looking really tidy through Sector 2 again.
He is.
Let's see what sort of lap he can set now on this fresh softs. He's currently 4.5 tenths up, so really good here from LOI Nolan.
A very tricky Sector 3 for him, and he seems to take it very nicely though. As an Alpine who was spun round out of his way though, coming around the last corner. LOI Nolan up into 5th gear. And up into P5, 16.9, not a bad lap, only 0.02 of a second off of D. Flynn.
Yeah, just giving him a little wave as he came around the final corner. Nice of him to greet LOI Nolan as he comes to the finish line.
Of course.
So who else have we got? We have Gaffo.
Yeah.
Just coming now through Sector 3 and approaching the line, power down, looking very tidy. Let's see how he does. Gaffo with a 16.6.
16.6, not a bad lap at all.
Very impressive. Yeah.
The P3 for him.
Up there with a 16.5, so what a good lap for Flemo in there as well in the middle of all that.
So we've gotten to that point in qualifying where you don't see a lot of cars out on track. They're all waiting to make their final attempt at a pole time. 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
Sanko, I believe, is on a lap.
Yes, indeed.
Ooh, and he has invalidated.
He's gonna invalidate that, yeah, absolutely. Those S's, as you know yourself, very, very tricky.
Not looking
You
very
miss one, you
comfortable
miss them
today.
all. No. And setup being so important around here. It's obviously a high-speed track with some very low-speed sections, and it can be very hard to get the balance right.
That's right. So Darvra in P5. It's not where you'd expect him to be, having won last week, but could have been a strong track last week for him. But you won't watch that.
Nope, he's just cutting the grass at the moment, making his way back to the pits. A man we haven't mentioned yet, who has made his LOI return. I can't think of many shorter retirements in any walk of life. It's Shamrock, one of the various iterations of names he's gone through, but we all know the Shamrock piece, and he is of course our reigning Tier 4 champion, so stepping up now to Tier 3, and so far making a good account of himself with a 17.5 around Mexico.
Yeah, not a bad one at all. Quite a short retirement, but he's welcome back, of course.
Absolutely.
Going through the S's, Carroll once again.
Yeah.
A little bit of snap of oversteer, and he hasn't validated once again.
Yeah.
18.9 he's sitting on currently, but he has invalidated, unfortunately.
Yeah, so we're in that lull. Lap time around here, as we know, 1 minute 16. So we'll see the lads starting to trickle out of pits in the next minute and a half. So they all want to get the optimum track conditions to set their final lap time. Knockos, we should know, has retired from the session, so he will start P19 with Glenn and Kachiga for company.
So now Shamrock going for his final run. Sitting P10 at the moment with a 17.5. Let's see how much of an improvement he can get on his previous lap.
Really nice line through there.
Yeah, looking quite tidy. And now through everyone's favourite part of the track, the S's. And, ooh, a lot of oversteer, a lot of snaps. He is just about keeping it within the track limits. But will that cost him those little mistakes? And they have. He's just about matching his previous time. Is there any time to gain in Sector 3 for Shamrock? Let's see how tidy he takes Sector 3. He's taking it very nicely so far onto the throttle, nice and early. Just gets as close to that sausage curve as he can. And what can Shamrock get for himself? He can improve by 2.5 tenths. It's not going to bring him up any positions.
No, and while we're watching that, Irish Az has retired in Sector 2. He lost it through the S's and the Haas, so he is going to start at best P13. And Ryan Curran is retired also, but he of his own accord in the pits. So his day's work, he thinks, is done. He's confident, and he's putting the feet up for the next 2 minutes.
Yeah, a lot of lads who have potential for a pole time are behind him on outlaps, so is that overconfidence going to be his downfall, or let's see. So Bluefoot, first out of the top few, going to be setting a lap.
Yeah. I'm just watching Dark Mayhem here in Sector 3, 3 tenths up coming to the line. This will be his last run. Let's see how he does. Gets on the power nicely, keeps the car to the right, saves himself a few hundreds. That's a 17.5, and that's P11.
Not a bad lap for the man on his debut.
Yeah, does
Dark
well.
Mayhem.
Does very well. As Wheelo, the great Wheelo, points out, it is of course known technically as a zigzag. I don't know all the lingo, but I am aware. Martin Brundle would agree. As Flemo going to start his last lap, so we've a lot of drivers now just coming across the start line. Bluefoot 1,000 down at the moment as he's in Sector 2, so a lot going on as the times roll in.
Yeah, let's see if anybody can take that pole off of Ryan Curran. Bluefoot now in Sector 3, or going into Sector 3 I should say soon enough. And through the S's, taking it very nicely, a little bit deep through the last part, but he gets through it fine. Into Sector 3 now, he is nearly 1.5 tenths up on his previous time. He might be able to get P2. I doubt at this point he'll be able to get pole. Very impressive pole times, 1:16.1. Well, here we go. Bluefoot across the last corner. 16.7 is what he has currently. What can he get when he crosses the line? It's a 16.6, a tenth
Jumps
behind
Caffo.
Kay Flemo.
As Blue Gunner crosses the line as well, does a 17.5, so that's his day's work done in P12.
Not a bad lap by Blue Gunner. Here we have Kay Flemo now in sector 3. Can he be the man to take pole off of Ryan Curran?
10th and a half up. Let's see what he does. It's a really good run to the line. Oh, he nearly loses the rear.
A snap of Overseer. What's he going to get? 16.4. He improves by just under half a tenth.
And we have Darver coming now to the line. He's in sector 3 and he currently is a 10th and a half up. So can he jump into P3 or maybe even P2? Let's see how his last sector goes.
There we go, Darver. Across the last corner. Coming across the line. What can he get for himself? A P3. Jumps ahead of Bluefoot.
Gaffo's behind him though. Gaffo's going to be close here. Gaffo.
Oh, he retakes P3. Gaffo.
Wow, 100. Good lap by Gaffo.
Superb lap by Gaffo there. Is anybody else out on a lap? I think Aaron Sully is on a lap. Oh, Aaron Sully is in the wall. Just as I go on to see if Nolan's on a lap, Aaron Sully is in the wall. And that is his qualifying done. Rory Drain, who is down on his time currently. Gone across the line. He does improve.
Small improvement, but not enough, yeah. The Fonz is backed out. I think that could be everyone said and accounted for. Sanko's invalidated, so I think that is everybody as the checkered flag has been dropped.
It is indeed. That is qualifying and a fantastic pole for Ryan Curran. A 1:16.1 beating Kay Flemo by 0.3 of a second. So no one could beat him today.
Yeah, that's incredibly impressive. And more field spread than we're used to in this tier, that's for sure. Unusual given that it's not the longest lap of the calendar either, but you can see good spread there from Sanko all the way up to Ryan Curran, so wonder if that'll play out the same way in the race. We'll see.
Only time can tell. So hopefully, I don't know who we're waiting on here. Defon's maybe getting into the pits.
Seems to be.
So why don't you just get your predictions into the chat on the finishing order of the race. Cav, what are you thinking yourself?
Oh look, it's very hard to look past Ryan. The only thing Ryan needs to sort out is obviously he's a mistake in him, but I would, if I was going for a podium here, I'd say Ryan Curran. I'd say Bluefoot looked very solid last week, and I'll go for Darver again. I think he again, along with Bluefoot, neither of them really put a foot wrong last week. So Ryan, Darver and Bluefoot for me, probably in that order as well.
I think you're right there, Cav. I think you're banging the money for myself as well. But why don't you take us down the order for qualifying?
Yep, so his first pole of the season, Mr. 105 AAI, that is Ryan Curran in the Mercedes. We've Kay Flemo, good result for him in P2. Gaffo starting P3, formerly known as Jenna Ortega. We have Darver in P4, we Bluefoot in P5 in his second LOI race. King Papa LOI Nolan in P60, Flynn P7, Aaron Sully P8, Rory Drain stepping up as a reserve P9. It's Shamrock on his return in P10, Defons in P11, Dark Mayhem 12th, Blue Gunner 13th, Irish Az 14th, Carl C 15th, Jay Carley 16th, Sanko 17th, Kachiga, Knuckles and Glenn Mack starting at the back with his quali ban.
Yeah, so an interesting qualifying as we have some clouds, a bit of overcast. Why don't we go to our analysts? Fanjo, what did you think of that qualifying?
It's good actually. Jeez, Mr. 105 with some lap time there. You say that, be careful now. But no, like to be honest, when I was kind of seeing who I expected to do well, I thought Ryan Curran would suit this track here, for qualifying especially. Kay Flema, I wasn't surprised, and then King Papa, I was surprised he wasn't a bit further up, but maybe he just had a few invalidations. But what was I going to say? Who surprised me was Darver. Like, I know he invalidated his first and second run, so he did well from there, but I thought he'd be further up the grid, I must say.
Yeah, tough start for Darver for sure. And I suppose if you were to pick a podium, Fanjo?
I'd like to see the tyres, but I do think from looking at quality there, I think Bluefoot will win. I think Flemo will come P2. And I'm kind of in between P3, but I think Gaffo will secure it.
Okay. Very interesting.
Oh, and also watch out for Kachiga. I know he doesn't like big knockouts, so he might have a
Some inside scoop from Fancho. Excellent. Well, we have a long run down to turn one, and of course we'll be coming